俺はあんたに自分をプレゼントすることにしたんだ。どう？気に入ってくれた？
Underground parking lot. An exhaust fan hums quietly in the underground parking lot, dispersing some of the sweltering heat. The trunk pops open with a click, and Marius packs the cardboard boxes stacked up inside the car. They contain all of your daily necessities that you two brought over from the Bonhagen estate. I think we got everything this time.
安心して。出る前に何度も確かめたから忘れ物はないよ。
He picks up a cardboard box and weighs it in his hands, revealing a light-hearted smile.
だいぶかかったけど、ようやくここに住めるんだね。
A few months ago, you and Marius picked this house located near the Salis River and decided to start your life together here. Since you didn't want to leave designing the new house to someone else, you've both been working on it in your free time. Granted, it has taken quite a long time to get to where you are now. You were the one who insisted that we do it ourselves in the beginning. It's too late to regret it now.
わかってるけど、楽しみすぎて。
Marius moved closer, but his movement is quite restricted due to the cardboard box in his hands, so he lowers his head a little and looks at you smugly.
少しでも早くお姉さんと暮らすために、今までどれだけ苦労してきたことか。
You laugh, reaching out to pinch his cheek. I know you've been working hard. We can relax together after we finish up today.
いいね。じゃあ、今日は家でお祝いしよっか。
A celebration?
そう。俺たち二人だけのね。
Marius smiles at you as if he's already making impromptu plans.
簡単なものでいいから、プレゼントを交換して、家で記念写真を撮るんだ。あと、せっかくだから外食の予定もキャンセルして、デリバリーしたディナーをベランダで食べるってのはどう？
Ah, the balcony. You pause for a moment when he mentions the balcony. As your eyes meet Marius' inquiring gaze, you can't help but let out a deep sigh. Even though you're almost ready to move in, the balcony design you volunteered to handle still hasn't been finalized. The art room. That day you are organizing Marius' paintings for the move. Intense sunlight shines into the studio through the large, crystal clear windows, causing you to squint. Marius closes the curtains with a swoosh, pointing at a few paintings next to him.
この辺のはなかなか悪くないね。新居に持っていこうか。
Okay, what about this? Marius looks at the paintings you are currently sorting through.
そっちはとりあえず置いといて。後で藤崎に額装してもらうから。
Then that just leaves this unfinished painting. Your gaze drifts to the unfinished piece on the easel. The river Marius painted is more than halfway done, leaving only the details to be completed. Looks like you've been working on that one for a while. Should we take it to the new house too when you're finished?
これか。
Marius falls silent. After staring at the oil painting for some time, he shakes his head softly.
まだ何とも言えないね。それより、今はこっちの方が大事かな。
Marius shakes your arm and picks up a file lying beside him. He then pulls you over to his side. Curious, you open it to discover a design draft inside. Is this supposed to be our new house?
うん、簡単に書いてみたんだ。
You spread the design draft out on your lap. Marius wraps an arm around you and points it to the paper. He may have called it a rough design draft, but all of the details are meticulously marked.
この部屋は格段に日当たりがいいから寝室にするつもりで、こっちの壁をガラス張りにすれば、外の景色はもちろん、朝日も夕日も楽しめると思うんだよね。クローゼットも隠し扉で仕切ってあるだけだから、そのまま開けばかなり便利になるんじゃないかな。それから書斎だけど、
His finger slowly glides over to the next room.
俺たちは家で仕事をしなきゃいけないこともあるから、ここにデスクを置くことで、昼間は外の景色が、夜は綺麗な夜空が見られて、いい気分転換になるはずだよ。
Marius prattles on, explaining his design choices to you one after another. You turn to look at his lively expression, feeling a spark of happiness in your heart. We've only started planning, but it feels like we're going to be living together starting tomorrow. The hand on your waist suddenly tightens its grip as you see the design draft ready to slip off your lap. You deftly grab it, but it also leaves you trapped in Mary's embrace.
何に笑ってるの？
I remember the first time we went to our new house, it was still completely empty, but you were talking about the layout, just like you are now.
それじゃあ、あの時と比べて、今日のはどうだった？
I love it, of course. You lower your head and carefully look over the draft once more. The entire floor plan is neat and orderly, but the balcony feels a little dull.
ベランダ？まあ、ここは寝室の方にこだわってるからね。何もかも派手にするより、バランス重視ってことで。
You bite your lip as you imagine what the balcony will look like, unintentionally spacing out in the process.
どうしたの？何かいい案でも浮かんだ？
You stare at the design draft for a long time. However, you are unable to pin down your indistinct thoughts, so you have no choice but to shake your head. I can't really explain it. I just feel like something's missing.
なら、あんたが設計図に手を加えて、いいと思うように改良してみるってのはどう？
Me? Marius looks totally sincere, not like he's joking whatsoever.
そうだよ。ここは俺たち二人の家だからね。あんたには妥協してほしくないんだ。もし何か気になるところがあるなら、一緒に解決しよう。
Alright. The edited design draft is sitting in your purse. Even though you made some adjustments to the original, you still aren't very satisfied. What's missing exactly? Good thing I still have some time. I'll think about it carefully later. After you make up your mind, you set aside your concerns and realize that Marius is looking at you thoughtfully. Don't worry, I'm mostly done with the balcony. The small details that are still left won't impact our move.
心配してるのはそこじゃないんだけど。
Marius pauses but doesn't continue. He simply nudges you gently with his arms.
まあ、そっちは急ぎじゃないし、ひとまず家に上がろう。今日はまだ仕事も残ってるから、寝室とクローゼットはもちろん、書斎まで手早く終わらせないとね。
Oh, yeah, I seem to remember you dragging me to the bathtub to play with bubbles every time I started making progress.
もしかして嫌だった？
Stop making fun of me? We have to finish organizing everything today, no matter what.
わかったよ。今日は絶対邪魔しないって約束する。
You hear the ding of the elevator just in time. The air conditioner in the house is cranked up all the way. Seeing as you've already organized the living room, you head straight for the bedroom. But when you open the door, bedroom. As you stand inside the clean, bright room, you immediately spot the river glimmering under the sunlight outside the window. The things that were moved over from the Von Hagen estate are already arranged throughout the room. Marius, when did you... You turn around to see him leaning against the door frame, looking at you with a smile.
あんたがベランダのことで思い詰めてるみたいだったから、他のとこは任せてもらおうと思ってさ。ほらほら、入ってみて。
Bedroom. After you get a closer look around the room, you gaze lens on a picture frame placed next to the bed. You even brought a picture from when you were little. No matter how many times I see it, it's still cute. You can't help smiling as your fingers lightly caress the glass frame. Marius takes the picture from you, places it upside down on the bed, and then lays down with you in his embrace.
別に初めて見るものでもないでしょ。
It suddenly feels so real when I see it all here.
え、今さら？もうずっと似たような準備をしてきたと思うけど。
Marius pretends to be hurt, and you smile as you rub the tip of his nose. You sit up in his arms and look around the bedroom once more. It's not the same. We were so busy before that I didn't really think about it. Now that I'm more relaxed, it's finally dawned on me that we're really going to live together.
そうなの？
Marius sits up, suddenly reaching out to rub your face arbitrarily. Hey, Marius.
考える暇もないってことは、ずっとベランダのことで悩んで楽しめてなかったってこと？困ってたなら、ちゃんと俺に言ってよね。
You feel a fleeting sense of dejection after being backed into a corner by Marius. Actually, I don't think the design is the problem. Maybe the balcony feels a little off because it's completely divided by glass. I've gone through so many different versions of the design, but no matter what I do, it doesn't look right. It still feels like something is missing.
そういうことだったんだね。
Marius lowers his gaze and ponders for a moment. When he looks up at you again, he appears totally self-assured.
いいこと考えた。これならあんたの力になれるかも。
Marius pulls you down to sit on the rug next to the bed and opens a box of pins he just found.
部屋の装飾に使おうと思ってたんだけど、まさか本当に役に立つなんてね。
What are you going to use that for?
俺のやり方を教えてあげるんだよ。いいアイデアが湧かない時の解決法をね。
Different ways? You mean changing up your painting technique?
そう。画法だけじゃなく、道具もモチーフも。煮詰まった時は、とにかく環境を丸ごと変えてみるんだ。例えば、悪いけど、袖をまくってくれない？
Marius stretches his arms out. Even though you are somewhat confused, you do as he sees, unbuttoning his cufflinks and rolling up his sleeves. He holds your hand, dips his index finger in some red pen, and then draws a straight line on his forearm.
一番簡単なのだと、腕を紙に見立てて指で書いてみるとかかな。
The bright red color fades as he drags it along his pale arm. In the end, it looks like the color is being revealed from within his skin. You spread the paint around with your fingertips, and Mary's forearm is soon covered in a deep crimson color. Is this really going to help?
やってみないとわかんないでしょ。それに俺の体に絵を描ける経験なんて誰にでもあるわけじゃないんだからね。
It's like Marius is promoting his own secret creative process. He simply leans closer, undoing a couple more buttons below his collar.
ほら、早く。
You look into his bright eyes, your heart fluttering at his words. When you finally snap back to reality, your fingers are already on the side of his neck. There is only enough paint left on your fingertips to leave a faint mark on his skin. However, Mary seems particularly sensitive to this touch as he reaches up to caress the red mark.
なるほど。描かれる側ってこんな感じなんだ。
How does it feel?
悪くないかな。
Mary scrubs your hand and gently dips it in yellow paint.
喋ってばかりいないで続けて。
You evenly spread the yellow paint on the back of his hand, covering up the red. You then paint along his neck down to his collarbone. Marius tries to reach up and touch it multiple times, but you stop him every time he tries. Move around, the paint hasn't dried yet. It's going to stain.
くすぐったいんだけど。
Marius must be having a hard time sitting still through this, because he looks up at the ceiling and plays with the hem of his shirt, all seemingly in an effort to distract himself.
フローレンスにいた頃、ボディーペイントをしたことがあるんだ。鮮やかな色は人の体の上では流動する色に変わるんだよ。まるで命を持ったかのようにね。俺は創作者だったけど、それでひらめいたんだ。今のこの状況、ちょっと似てると思わない？
Yeah, it does, but the rules are reversed now. You glide a light green color from his collarbone down to his chest, creating an abstract curve. Marius pauses for a moment, then the lines and arcs on his chest rise and fall with his breathing. It's as if they truly are coming to life. You don't stop spreading the beads, continuing in one uninterrupted motion. As your fingers dance over his skin, Marius' breathing grows increasingly heavy.
今、描かれる立場として、自分の肌にどんな色が施されているのかわからない。だから、期待したり想像したりすることで、創作欲がかきたてられるんだ。
Anticipating and imagining it. You look at the warped flower in front of you. It probably isn't what Marius is imagining, and you suddenly don't know how you should continue with this. Marius calms himself before taking your finger and pulling it closer.
どうしてやめちゃうの？俺の芸術家魂におじけづいちゃった？
Marius. He smiles and takes your hand in his, resting it on his chest. He then slides it down to create a perfect green stem, deepening the color.
大切なのは描く過程で感じたことで、結果じゃないよ。それに、絵の出来栄えがどんなだろうと、見るのは俺だけなんだ。だから、思い切りやってよ。
Even though Marius' words are full of encouragement, he still can't resist smiling when he finally stands up in front of the mirror to admire the results. You cover his mouth before he can say anything. You were the one who told me to be bold, so you're not allowed to laugh at me now. Marius grins at you, and he finally nods in supposed understanding.
それにしても、なかなか、生き生きとした花だね。
He reaches up and rubs the area where the flower and stem meet. However, he gives up when he realizes that the paint has already dried. The vivid flower on his chest sways as he moves, and you shift your gaze to the balcony. When those vivid patterns turned into flowing colors on a human body, it felt as if they came to life. You softly repeat what Marius said earlier.
え
I'm still thinking, if the rhythm of the human body can bring a painting to life, could we use that same concept to design the balcony?
何か動きのある要素を取り入れてみるってこと
Marius looks over at the balcony as he sees this. Exactly.
じゃあ、流水の景観のようなものを入れてみるのはどう？材料を頼んでおくから、その中から選んで。あ、
Partway through his sentence, Marius furrows his brow and reaches up to scratch his neck. You lean in closer to find that the skin under the edge of the painting is slightly red.
ちょっとかゆい。
Go home in the shower. It would be really bad if you got an allergic reaction.
うん、そうするよ。
You shove a bath towel into Marius' hands and push him into the shower.
俺のことはいいから。
Marius pokes his head out of the shower.
あんたも服が汚れてるんだから、早く着替えてね。
You look down and realize there really is quite a bit of paint on your jacket. Will do. Cloakroom. Since the closet still hasn't been organized, several cardboard boxes are stacked haphazardly inside. You don't even know where to begin looking. You glance around, about to look through them one by one. Just then, you spot a thin cardboard box nearby that clearly isn't used to store clothes. What's that? Curious, you open the box to find an oil painting inside. It depicts a river at night. Cool moonlight illuminates the underlying ripples in the water as the river snakes into the distance, stretching on into a thick fog. Isn't this the piece Marius was still working on? Cloakroom. Suddenly, you aren't too concerned with looking for new clothes. You simply sit down and admire the painting. The river is tranquil yet mysterious. While it's the main subject of the painting, what caught your eye at first glance was the fog. What is concealed beyond that mist? It's as if the painting is drawing you in, and you can't stop yourself from becoming immersed in thought. You don't know how much time passes before you hear the sound of footsteps at the door along with Marius' voice.
何をそんなに夢中で見てるの？
You turn around to see Marius, who has just finished showering. He walks towards you as he dries his hair. He is only wearing a towel, most likely because his shirt got ruined by the paint earlier. He casually throws the towel he was using to dry his hair on the sofa, turns around and digs through a box. He then pulls out a jacket and covers you with it.
クローゼットは冷えるから、キャミソール1枚なんかで座ってると風邪ひいちゃうよ。
Ah! You glance over at the vent, suddenly aware of the cool air pouring out. You can't help but grab the jacket and pull it tighter against yourself. I took off my jacket and was looking for something to wear, but I started staring at this instead. You wave the oil painting in your hands at him. Marius walks over and is somewhat startled to see it.
これ、引っ越し業者が間違えたのかもね。クローゼットに飾りたかったのは別のもう一枚の方だし。
Huh? Sensing your curiosity, Marius sits down next to you. Do you want to get dressed first?
じゃあこうして。ほら、これでどう？
Before you can even react, Marius has already taken the painting from you and put on his shirt. You are in Marius' arms in the blink of an eye. His hair is still damp, moist with the familiar scent of shampoo. You,
どうしたの？
Marius smiles as he hugs you. Pressed up against his warm skin, you finally feel the slight chill running through your body. You swallow the rest of your sentence, silently nestling into a comfortable position. Marius' necklace hangs down over your arm, and you brush the cool sensation away. It's nothing. Let's talk about this painting. You gently touch the old painting and hear Marius sigh.
この絵のタイトルは楽園。昔聞いた物語からヒントを得たんだ。
Paradise?
世界の西の果て、地図にない場所に楽園と呼ばれる島があるらしいんだ。そこはずっと霧に覆われていて、外界とは川でつながってるみたいなんだけど、探そうと思っても永遠に見つけられないんだって。たどり着くための唯一の方法は、島の精霊に招待してもらうしかない。
That being said, you still want to find it, right? You hear Marius' lighted laughter from above your head. He pats your arm as if he just remembered something interesting.
わかっちゃった？そうだよ。言ったんだ。大学の頃にね。神話の中の不思議な場所には、大抵どこもモデルがあるもんでしょ？俺もそう思いながら西を目指したんだ。
So, did you find it? Marius lowers his head and nuzzles against you before tightening his embrace.
まさか、俺は精霊に招待されるほど、運が良くなかったみたい。でも、物語では楽園に到達できると、永遠の幸せと安らぎを得られるらしいんだ。
Did you use fog to cover the island in the painting because you weren't able to find it?
そう。ありもしない場所だし、物語でもおぼろげに語られているだけだったからね。それを絵なんかで表現しちゃったら、興ざめでしょ。
A real place. You sense Marius' gaze lingering on paradise for a considerable amount of time, and a thought suddenly pops into your head. But I still want to know what you imagine paradise to be like. Can you tell me? You want to hear him say the unspoken words behind the story without leaving a single thing out. Then you want to create a real paradise for him. You and Marius sit quietly like this for a while as his warm breath stutters. Finally, he takes a deep breath.
物語ではずっと霧に覆われているみたいだけど、島の空は青く澄み渡ってるらしいから、川の果てまで見えると思うんだ。そして、木々が島へと導くように道を作っていて、その途中は花や果実の匂いが漂っている。
You close your eyes, picturing the island in your mind's eye. There would be a lot of flowers blooming on those trees. Maybe the path itself is even covered in petals.
そうだね。それからその道の果てでは、人々を島へ招待する精霊が旅人に祝福を送っているんだ。
A place like that would definitely be completely free of all worry.
うん。もし本当に楽園があるんだったら、俺、そこであんたと一緒に暮らしたいよ。
Okay, then let's get on the boat together and go get our blessing. Marius doesn't respond for a long while, so you glance up at him in confusion. But in the next moment, he places the oil painting on the sofa and sits up with you still in his arms. Marius? You land on his lap, but you have to wrap your arms around his neck to steady your center of gravity. The damp hair on the nape of his neck brushes against your fingertips, and you subconsciously shift your fingers to move the strands aside. Marius doesn't seem to notice this slight movement, although you inexplicably start to get tangled up in his shirt. You wiggle around for a long time before suddenly noticing yourself unwittingly falling into his gentle, sparkling eyes. You have no choice but to surrender.
本当に想像上のものかもしれないけど、それでも一緒に探しに行ってくれるの？
Marius murmurs even ever so softly. Your heart melts and you can't stop yourself from hugging him. Even if it's all imaginary, I'll set out with you anytime if you want to find it. You smile and take Mary's hand in yours, weaving your fingers through his and pressing your thumbs tightly together to seal this promise. Do you feel better now? Marius leans in to kiss you, swallowing up your last word. It's as if using your thumb to seal your promise wasn't enough. Now something deeper is carved into your hearts with each other's intertwined breath.
約束したんだ。今から一緒に来てもらうからね。
What is it?
楽園よりもっと現実的で、すぐに実感できる想像だよ。
He glanced back at the empty wall of the closet.
ここに描ける予定だったのは、未来に対する期待を込めた絵だったんだけど、お姉さんはどんな絵だったか気になる？
Before you have the chance to respond, Marius pulls you up the stand in front of the full-length mirror.
ちょっと待ってて。
Marius turns around and searches through a cardboard box for a moment. He puts on a dress shirt before picking out a long dress with an intricate pattern. It's beautiful.
あんたのためにデザインしたんだ。
You're already surprised, yet Marius walks up behind you with his usual look on his face. The two of you are reflected in the full-length mirror. His arm brushes past your waist as he holds the dress in front of you. A faint chill courses down your spine as the smooth and silky fabric grazes your bare skin. Marius lowers his eyes. It feels more like he's embracing you in his arms, even though you're simply trying out the dress.
髪は止めた方がいいね。それからアクセサリーは外して。
You lower your head a bit, tuck your head behind your ears, and slowly take off your earrings and necklace. Your bare neck is no longer blocked by your hair or jewelry, bringing more attention to the pattern of the dress. It's apparent that Marius has already thought about how to style this dress. If this hadn't been such a spur of the moment, he probably would have pulled your hair up himself.
思った通り。よく似合うよ。
But what does this have anything to do with the painting?
描かれていた光景はこれだよ。
Cloakroom.
描かれていた光景はこれだよ。
The confusion on your face reflected upon the mirror is as clear as day.
あんたはモデルとして、あるいは恋人としてドレスを着てくれるけど、そんな時間は限られている。だけど、これらのことすべてが俺たちの日常になればいいのにって思うんだ。
Marius plays with a ribbon hanging from the dress, twisting it around his finger before letting it fall slack again. Stuff like that? What else is there?
いっぱいあるよ。例えば、毎日出かける前にあんたと一緒に服を選ぶとか。
But don't we do that together all the time?
え？何言ってるのお姉さん。あれじゃ選んでるうちに入らないよ。
Before you can inquire further, Marius spins you around and pulls you into his arms. Cool fabric presses against your back, and the only heat you feel comes from his warm palms. He bends down and rests his head on your shoulder, nestling into the crook of your neck like a spoiled child.
あんたの家に行くと たまにちょっと困ることがあるんだ。
Huh?
タンスのことでね。あんたの分だけなら十分なんだけど、俺のまで入れたらいっぱいになっちゃうなって。だから、お姉さんのところには最低限のものしか置けなくて、いつもと違う雰囲気にしたいなって時もしっくりくる服がないんだ。
Now that you think about it, that has happened before. Marius had once stood in front of the wardrobe with a troubled look on his face. Embarrassed by your own insensitivity, your cheek starts to burn. Why didn't you say anything? I always thought you were just thinking about how to coordinate your outfit.
わざわざ大きいタンスを置いてほしいなんて言えなくてね。それに、こんな小さな悩みがあったとしても、俺は毎日あんたと一緒にいたいんだ。
Marius pauses for a moment, and neither of you notices as the dress begins to fall from his grasp.
これからは毎朝、お互いのコーデを考えよ
Actually, we don't even need to wait until morning. You take the dress from him and caress the zipper on the back. Haven't you already chosen something for me? Marius smiles knowingly.
う。任せて。
Bedroom. You both spend quite some time trying on clothes and organizing the closet before you head back to the bedroom.
次は書斎だよね。
Wait a minute, there's something else I want to do first. You pull the design draft out of your bag, spread it out on the sofa, and begin sketching on it. First, you painted Marius' body. Then you listen to him talk about his plans for the future. Before you know it, the entire balcony has already come together in your mind.
ひらめいたの？
Yeah, look. You point toward a corner of the design with your pen. Let's move the plants over a little bit, and then we can put your easel here in the corner.
イーゼル？
Yeah, I want to paint here with you. Oh, and we can put a table and some chairs here. That way we can sit and talk to each other at night. You continue rambling on, and the design draft is soon filled with your ideas. Wanting to show them off all together, you hold the paper up in front of Marius. What do you think? He moves closer until only the paper separates you two. It's clear that his attention isn't focused on the draft.
つまり、ベランダの設計は、俺と一緒に完成させたいってこと？
Yep, pretty much. You nod, but you don't tell Marius that you want to incorporate the concept of paradise into the balcony's design. I should keep that part a surprise.
わかった。じゃあまず、藤崎に材料を持ってきてもらおう。
As he says this, Marius dials Vincent's number.
坊ちゃん、どうされました？
藤崎、今新居にいるんだが、精巧な盆栽をいくつかと、水が流れるような景観を用意できるか？
Oh, we don't need a water feature. I have a better idea. You unwittingly interrupt him and Marius nods.
悪い、景観の方はキャンセルで。代わりにうちで近々発売されるガーデンシリーズのバーカウンターを頼む。
Garden series?
うん。ファックスが国内外の有名家具デザイナーを招いて作ったシリーズで、まだ市場にも出てないものだよ。
I see. Marius pauses for a second, quickly scanning through the design draft again before informing Vincent what else you need. When you see that Marius is about to hang up, you see your chance to stop him. Hold on. He looks surprised when you take the phone from him. Something else to ask Vincent.
他のこと？まさか、俺に何か秘密？あ、わかった。サプライズだね。
Marius sees right through your thoughts, and you awkwardly shift your gaze away. His expression says he won't give in until you confess. If he keeps staring at you like this, you'll be completely exposed before Vincent even arrives with the stuff. You push Marius right out of the door. Stop asking! Vincent is still waiting, so stay out there for now.
まったく、なかなか強情だね。
You close the door, you hear a brief rustle before all falls silent. That guy. Sorry for the wait, Vincent.
いえいえ、先生。それで、どういったご用でしょうか？
Other than everything Marius mentioned earlier, could you bring an aromatherapy diffuser and some floral and fruity essential oils? I also need some small petals, but any kind is fine.
承知しました。
Remember to pack it all up nice and tight. Thanks, Vincent. After hanging up, you open the door to find Marius standing in the doorway overcome with boredom.
一体何なの？そんなにもったいぶっちゃって。
Don't worry, you'll find out soon enough. Soon, Vincent brings over all the items you and Marius asked for. After organizing everything on the balcony for a while, you and Marius finally arrange everything according to the design. Even though the indoor air conditioning blows out onto the balcony, you still feel sticky and sweaty from the sweltering summer air. You lounge on a bar stool, leaning on the bar as you gaze at the view outside the window. The peaceful surface of the river, the birds flitting to and fro, and the occasional passing boat are all blanketed in dazzling sunlight. Marius nudges you with his elbow as he spots a few unopened boxes of varying sizes in the corner.
お姉さん、まだ教えてくれないの？
Are you that curious?
じらさないでよ。俺へのサプライズなんでしょ？知りたいに決まってるじゃん。
Marius pauses, but it only spurs you on. With that, you put on a serious expression and reach out with your palm facing him. My surprise is ready. What about yours?
俺？
After a stunned moment or two, Marius smiles slyly and laces his fingers through yours.
もちろん、用意してるよ。でもまだ内緒。
Tapping on the back of your hand with his fingertips, Marius pulls you in toward him.
教えてくれないなら、この手は離さないよ。
Fine, fine. Let me get everything ready. After Marius leaves the room, you open up the boxes and begin preparing. By the time everything is ready, the sky is already getting dark and temperatures have cooled down considerably. You wipe the sweat from your forehead. Done. Are you ready? Can I open the door?
もう待ちきれないよ。
Bedroom. As the door slowly opens, a floral, fruity scent wafts out. Bathed in gentle light, the balcony is shrouded in hazy mist. Green plants partially cover the balcony door, while the purple petals scattered on the ground act as a path leading you and Marius forward.
これは？
You found paradise. Why are you so shocked? Welcome to the island. Have a look around. You tug on Marius' sleeve. The astonishment on his face quickly transforms into a knowing smile, and he follows you as you walk along the petals. A path lined with the trees guides you across the island, and it will be filled with a fruity floral fragrance.
お、これは、イチジクの香り？それに、ココナッツも。
You and Marius walk through the mist onto the balcony, leaving any haziness behind you. You can easily spot the mouth of the Salus River on this clear night. Even though the island is constantly surrounded by fog, it will definitely have blue skies, and you could even see the mouth of the river. Under the night sky, Marius rests his forehead against yours as he finishes your thought.
きっと気ままに過ごせる素晴らしい場所だろうね。俺、あんたとここで暮らすんだ。
Pretty nice, right? I know it's a little hastily put together, and I couldn't perfectly replicate the island in your imagination. But I created this paradise for you.
俺のために？
The neon city lights twinkle, reflecting on the river's surface. You and Marius are far removed from the hustle and bustle of the city. As your gaze lingers on the distance, it's as if this small balcony is isolated from the rest of the world, slowly transforming into a real island. Yeah, there's no way for us to find a real paradise, but I wanted to try granting your wish at least. Here, by my side. You run your finger over Marius' brow. His reddened eyes surge with emotion. After remaining silent for some time, Marius lets out a deep breath and chuckles.
一緒に行こ
Huh? Marius leads you over to the railing. The midsummer evening breeze carries a trace of lingering heat, creating a stuffy sensation when it blows on your face.
う。一緒に暮らそうって決めた日のこと覚えてる？
The memory of that day appears before your eyes as he speaks. The art room. A few months ago, you and Marius were painting together in his studio. You glance at the large blocks of color on the canvas, but you can't tell what he's painting. What are you painting?
これはね、
He pauses before smiling and winking at you.
今は内緒。完成したらまた見せてあげるよ。それよりあんたこそ。
Marius scoots over to look at your canvas.
うん。だいぶ上達してる。俺の教え方がうまいおかげだね。
Of course, I wouldn't want to embarrass my teacher. Your canvas displays a countryside landscape that you copied from a painting Marius did. The original painting is set up in front of you. The rural scenery he painted is empty and quiet. A small stream sneaks through the verdant fields and extends into the deserted distance. You felt like the piece was a little lonesome, so you added a small cabin in the corner of your painting. As expected, Marius notices this at a glance.
どうしてこの家を付け加えたの？
Well, I think the rural landscape you painted looks like it's from a passerby's perspective. It feels like they suddenly stopped here to paint down the scenery. But I hope that a place that beautiful is also equally lively, so maybe someone lives there.
誰が？俺とあんた？
Nope. Marius looks at you with a hurt expression, and he moves closer to you, dissatisfied.
え、まさかお姉さん、俺と一緒に暮らしたくないの？
No, of course I... A crafty expression flashes across Mary's face, and you swallow the second part of your sentence. He bursts out laughing, knowing that his plan is a success.
冗談はこのくらいにして。俺と一緒に暮らしてくれない？
His light-hearted teasing suddenly turns into an earnest question. You are left stunned for a moment, even forgetting to answer. Marius looks at your painting and back at his own. He then takes a deep breath.
絵の中には住めないけど、ステラ市であんたの気に入った場所で暮らすことはできる。もちろん、二人っきりでね。どうかな？
As Marius watches on with a tender gaze, you nod. As soon as the answer leaves your lips, Marius grabs you and lifts you into the air.
よかった。お姉さんはきっとそう言ってくれるって思ったよ。返事をくれたとき、恥ずかしかったのかほっぺを赤くしちゃってさ。可愛すぎてつい抱き上げちゃった。
Who knew you'd get so serious all of a sudden? Huh? As if he's recreating the scene from that day, Marius suddenly picks you up again. You yelled in surprise only to realize that you're just as excited as you were on that day. Is it because you're suddenly weightless, or is it because you and Marius always seem to share the same vision?
実は俺、長い間いろんなことを考えていたんだけど、楽園もその中の一つだったんだ。
What?
当初は、この絵を完成させたら一緒に暮らそうっていうつもりだった。この絵を見せて、あの物語を聞かせて、そしてこう言うんだ。ほら、素敵な場所でしょ？ここで俺と暮らしたくない？もちろん、見つけられないことは分かってる。だから、俺と一緒に二人だけの楽園を作ってって。
Marius lifts you up in his embrace, and the tip of his nose inadvertently rubs against your lower lip.
だけど、あんたが一緒に暮らすことに応じてくれたあの日、あの瞬間、俺が想像していた未来に対しての全てのかけらが一つになった。例えば、朝に日の出を見る時から夜に波の音を聞く時まで、あんたがいつまでもそばにいる。そんなことを考えただけで、俺、我慢できなくなるんだよ。
So that's why it was all so sudden. Your heart beats rapidly, and you feel slightly dizzy.
知ってた？どんなに些細なことも、一緒に暮らそうって決めるずっと前から考えてたって。というより、無意識に考えてたって言った方が正しいか。
The secret thoughts he had kept concealed for months are suddenly revealed to you. In his low murmurs, you recall memories you also hadn't noticed at the time. Of course, there were countless moments when you fantasized about being with him forever too. Marius, I feel the same. Unable to vocalize your feelings, you simply kiss his lips. Your restless heart finally steadies when you kiss him. You pull away a little to stroke his slightly heart shake.
ただの象徴だった楽園を、あんたは現実にしてくれたんだ。あんたは、俺を島に招待してくれた精霊なの？
Marius puts you down and turns to face the night breeze. His gaze lands on the river as you slowly shake your head. I've already played the part of a fairy, so this time I want to be the traveler who visits the island with you. We set up this place together. As you both lean up against the railing, you secretly glance at Marius' profile. You can't help but wonder, did he imagine this scenario before too? After standing in silence like this for some time, Marius suddenly turns to you and strokes your arm affectionately.
そうだった。そろそろプレゼントを渡さないとね。
Huh? I can have it today. Marius raises his eyebrows, takes you by this arm, and leads you into the room.
もちろん。だけど午後はずっと忙しくて、汗もたくさんかいたでしょ？だから、 先にお風呂に入ってさっぱりしてきなよ。
Water pours into the bathtub, slowly filling it up. Marius then turns off the faucet and dips his hand in to test the temperature.
ちょうどいい湯加減。
But if I take a bath and then sweat again on the way home, I'll have to wash up again later.
だから帰らずに、今夜からここで暮らすんだよ。
You are somewhat stunned. But didn't you say earlier today that you wanted to celebrate on the day we move in? You've been planning it for so long. Isn't it too sudden to just move in tonight?
サプライズもプレゼントもあるんだ。どこからどう見てもお祝いでしょう。それに夜も遅いし、こんな時間に運転させるなんて、俺がかわいそうだと思わないの？
Marius nestles his head in your neck once again, rubbing it wantonly. You reach out and pat his head. Okay, it's up to you.
それじゃあ決まりね。お風呂、先に入ってきていいよ。
What about you?
俺はプレゼントの包装をしないとだから。上がったらクローゼットまで来て。
Marius leaves behind this mysterious message before dashing into the closet. What is Marius up to? Cloakroom. Since you're so curious, you wash up quickly, make your way to the closet, and open the door. Under warm yellow light, clothes are scattered all over the floor of the closet, and you spot what seems to be a figure in the corner. Upon hearing the sound of the door opening, Marius turns his head slightly. Marius?
ここだよ。
You don't concern yourself with picking the clothes off the ground. Instead, you carefully step over the piles and walk over to the corner where you heard his voice. Cascading light intertwines with the shadows trapped on Marius' body. His expression is shrouded by one such shadow, and you can clearly make it out. He sits cross-legged in front of the full-length mirror. His shirt is buttoned all the way up in a formal fashion, and he has a new pair of shoes on.
見つかっちゃったね。
There is a glint of slyness in his gaze, and he reaches out to you in what appears to be an invitation. You take his hand and bend down in front of him. Didn't you say you were getting my present ready? What's this?
プレゼント？それなら、あんたの目の前にあるじゃん。
Marius yanks on your hand and you tumble into his arms. You inevitably brace your arms against his chest to support yourself. Wrinkles appear on his perfectly ironed shirt. You look up to see Marius' smug expression.
俺はあんたに自分をプレゼントすることにしたんだ。どう？気に入ってくれた？
So, you tried on all these different outfits to wrap yourself up. At this extremely close distance, you can feel Marius' breath as he exhales. The atmosphere is quite suggestive, but you spot some clues out of the corner of your eyes, and you can't help but laugh when you imagine Marius constantly changing in front of the mirror.
笑わないでよ。片っ端から着てみたんだけど、どれもピンとこなくてね。あんたの支度が終わったのを気配で感じて、慌てて元の服を着て、ここで隠れて待ってたんだ。
It's okay. What's important is the present, not the wrapping it's packaged with. You gently pinch Marius' nose and plant a kiss on his lips as a reward.
つまり、気に入ってくれたってこと？
Of course, I like you more than anything.
じゃあお姉さん、これから一緒に過ごす日々では、きっと俺を高価なプレゼントを扱うように大事にしてくれるんだよね。
Isn't that what I've been doing from the beginning? Marius moves his palm to your waist, softly rubbing your back through the fabric of your clothes. Rather than a present, it would be more accurate to call this a trap. You only need to get close to him to be ensnared by affection. Wait. You shift Marius' legs up so that he is sitting up and pull his hands in front of you as he watches on in surprise. I haven't opened my present yet. Upon hearing this, Marius stretches out his arms and legs, reclining lazily. Only then do you notice the mirror behind him. Both of you shifting figures intersect, and an ambiguous feeling begins to unravel in your heart.
どうやって開けるつもり？
You don't respond. Instead, you put Marius' hands behind his back and snatch a third scarf off the ground. Let me rub you back up again first. You put your arm around Marius, fumbling as you tie the scarf around his wrist. Even though Marius doesn't resist, he doesn't go out of his way to help you either. You can't see what you're doing behind him, so you have no choice but to press your entire body up against his. After some time, you finally manage to tie a ball.
これ、結局外すのに無駄じゃない？
Who said I was going to untie it? The bow is merely for decoration. You kneel down in front of Marius, undoing his first button. Now it's time to open my present. All of his buttons are undone, and his pendant hangs loosely from his neck. Even though you are clearly in control, Marius isn't any less imposing. In fact, you feel like you're the one in danger here. The light in the closet is as bright as day, but it still can't cover up the dubious atmosphere. Your heart beats softly. You move slightly closer to Marius as he watches on. Marius, were you planning this from the start?
ここまでしておいて、今さら俺のせいにしないでよ。
He tilts his head a bit, and there is a flicker of sincere confusion in his expression.
どうしたの？これで終わり？
You reach out and ruffle his hair. The soft strands hang down loosely, covering his eyes slightly.
俺の髪を触るのがそんなに好きなの？
It feels really nice. He nuzzles up against your palm like a little animal trying to gain your affection. Your fingers travel down and you can't resist stopping at Marius' neck. There you feel his thumping pulse. You lean forward and gently bite the area. Marius sucks in a breath and his arm stands.
お姉さん。
I'm checking my present. He seemingly wants to move closer, but with his arms tied, he can only shrug his shoulders.
まあ、俺はあんただけのものだから、好きにしてくれていいよ。
Marius quickly steadies his breathing, going as far as to reveal a calm smile.
それにしても、なかなか開けてくれないから、プレゼントも待ちくたびれちゃってるよ。
His husky, bewitching voice seemingly reminds you that everything you do now will soon have consequences. Taking his comment into account, the next scene flickers before your eyes. You take a deep breath, finally move your fingertips from Mary's neck and pinch his chin. I get it. I won't tease you. I'll untie you. You support Mary's waist, reaching out to untie the bow on his wrist. You originally tied it casually, but now you can't seem to undo it. You don't know if you are imagining it, but Mary's body temperature seems higher than usual. There is already a thin layer of sweat on your palms. Is it because it's too hot in here? You look over at the air conditioning panel in the cloakroom. You suddenly feel something like an electric shock on your ear, and you whip your head back. The culprit is staring at you with an innocent expression.
早くほどいてくれない？
You rub your hot earlobe, then touch your scorching cheeks. Finally, you locate the end of the silk scarf and untie the bow. Your world spins in an instant, and your positions are flipped. The cold mirror against your back makes you shiver, and you subconsciously seek Marius' warmth. He moved closer right in time, covering your eyes as you share a long, wet kiss in the momentary darkness. Wrapping your arms around his waist, you feel like a cloud, endlessly floating on the breeze but unable to find a serene place to rest. Only when the sky dims and everything falls silent do you finally drift off to sleep in his warm embrace. Bedroom. When you wake up, it's already the wee hours of the morning. You are lying on the soft bed as Marius peacefully sleeps next to you. You sit up drowsily and turn your head to see the night view outside. Is that? You feel your consciousness slowly returning, and you quietly walk over to the balcony. The scent of figs still lingers even after this long. After staring off into the distance for a while, you don't even notice that Marius has woken up. You snap back to reality when you hear him call out to you.
何を見てるの？それに何も履かないで、裸足だと冷たいでしょ。
You turn around and wave him over. Don't worry, Marius. Come over here. Most of the city lights are off, but those that remain intertwined with the stars, the river's surface is easy under the blanket of the night sky. Everything in front of you looks just like the scene painted in paradise. Marius recognizes you. His jaw drops ever so slightly, and he stares at the river for a long time before speaking in a low voice.
これはすごい偶然だね。
Maybe it isn't a coincidence. Maybe the fairies were destined to invite us. Hey, if we got on a boat right now, where do you think we should end up? Would you make your way to a real harbor or a fantastical world of streams? What would you encounter along the way, and who would be waiting on the shore?
たとえどこだろうと、終わりのない旅になろうとも、船の中であんたと一緒なら、一生過ごすことになってもいい。
Marius hugs you from behind and points toward the river. The gentle night wind blows past his fingertips and tousles your hair. Maybe the river will carry your wish away, or perhaps the wind will transmit your words to the distant fairies. Either way, your sorry and interwoven love will be remembered by this dark night forever.
ほら、こうしてずっと一緒にいれば、お互いに寂しくないでしょ？これから何が起ころうと、俺たちの家が世界で一番安らげる場所であるといいね。きっとこの先、 俺たちはこの家でいろんな思い出を作っていくんだろうね。もちろん、あんたが考えてることなら大歓迎だし、思いつく未来ではずっと、あんたは誰よりも輝いてるよ。このふわふわの毛、俺の髪と似たような触り心地だから、恋しくなったら触ってみて。でも、俺たちにはもう二人の家があるわけだし、その時はなるべく帰ってきてね。ここの砂が落ちて、導きの星が現れたら、あんたを家に連れ帰ってくれるはずだよ。忘れないでね。この町にはあんたの居場所と、あんたと俺の帰るべき家があるってことを。